Hello. Hi. Hey, you beautiful what's up, bros? Hey, stevedores. Hi. Hello. Hi. I'm Steve. Hey. You might know me from such podcasts as the Plain Donuts podcast, or Gaming with Steve on YouTube, or such Twitch channels as Meave Statney, the Sunday night streams, or you might know me from Twitter or Facebook, or most likely you probably know me from real life and we might be friends. I couldn't live without us being friends. I'm here to try to help. There's been a lot of stuff flying around lately about, of course, politics and just different stuff. There's always stuff in the air for some reason, just lies and untruths and half-truths all the time, everywhere. So I'm here to try to tell you how to tell if something is true on the internet. And I know it's difficult. I know it's hard, especially if you care about whether stuff is true. It's always this big old maze of confusion, but maybe I can help. I feel like I'm a pretty balanced individual. I try to keep an open mind, and I try to be rigorous about the things I believe, so maybe I can help. We're going to start with social media, primarily Facebook, but this also applies, I guess, to your grandma's forwarded emails or forums, I guess, if you still go to forums. Frickin' weirdo. Okay, so let's say you see a post from a friend about an event or a person they don't know directly. It's not about their life. Specifically, it's about like an election or maybe a celebrity. Is that post from your friend true? No. Or at least it's probably not true. This should be the way you think about it. It's not true, or probably not true, or at least it's probably not entirely true. It's always more complicated than you think it is. With your friends, when they post stuff, opinions or whatever, and you suspect that it may not be true or may not be fully true, and it's probably not fully true, that's where you engage. Ask questions. Social media is intended to be social, so ask the questions. You can ask for sources. Hey, where did you see that? But ask nicely. You're not Walter Cronkite, unless you are. You're probably not a journalist. You're probably just a person who exists sometimes on the internet, and you're looking for what's true. And you're looking to develop opinions about the things going on around you so that those opinions can inform the way you interact with the world, the way you vote, the things you watch on television, etc., etc. So have the conversation. It's really cool to share knowledge. It's fun to have friends and to be friends. If it's just a post from a friend making an opinionated statement, or even just a statement that is kind of opinionated, ask questions, have a conversation, be a friend. It's neat. It's fun. So what if you see like a headline? Maybe somebody reposted something, or a page that you follow posts an article, and you see this headline. And all you read off the bat, of course, is the headline. Is it true? No. Again, no. It's probably not true. If it's just a headline, it's really not true. And it's especially not true if it confirms something you already believe. If you already think that person is bad that the article is about, or even if you already love that person. Like, a lot of people have a great love for Bernie Sanders right now. If that article is about how Bernie Sanders is a great guy, you need to think of it as especially not true, because it's confirming your cognitive bias. And that's the thing that we all deal with. Cognitive bias, if you don't know, means basically when you believe something, you already have an existing framework for belief about something in your mind, and you see other things that confirm that. You want to believe it's true automatically. You immediately think, oh, that's a true thing because I already think that. But it may not be true. You have to be especially questioning of things that confirm things you already believe. It's cognitive bias. And even if that thing is true, it's probably, like I said, not the entire truth. It's always more complicated than you think. So, investigate. Click through on the link if you want to. If you don't care, move on. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Move on. Read the article. Read critically. Remember that you have this cognitive bias, that things that confirm what you already believe, you're already going to naturally, instinctively think they're true, so question those. But read the article. I would warn you though, if an article you're reading has a lot of opinionated words or accusations, murderer, whore, scumbag, slut, racist, these accusations indicate an extreme bias. Look out for extreme biases. A biased article is never fully true. That's the problem with a bias, is that it gets in the way of telling the truth. Real good journalists make an effort constantly to try to get rid of the bias in their journalism because they know themselves they have bias. We all have bias. If you Snopes something, if you look it up on Snopes, that's a good thing to do. Snopes, they generally cite their sources really well. It's generally quite reliable. There's an article that goes around that says the people who run Snopes are biased. Yeah, idiot. What are you, some paragon of unbiasedness? The most reasonable person in the whole world? What do you... No, we're all biased. Everyone is biased. So, if an article has a lot of opinions in it, it's a biased article. You need to be very careful about that. Again, this will be especially difficult if you agree with the article. Remember, your cognitive bias is there. Your inclination to believe the article is there. Question it constantly. Read everything critically. This is how you have to live on the internet. Because there are so many lies flying around right now. Not even just half-truths. I'll go out and say there are many lies just all over the place. Be careful. So once you've read the article, you've gone through and you've read it, maybe skimmed it. Question every assertion made therein. Question every single one. If that assertion isn't backed up with a source, it's probably not true, or at least it's not fully true. If they're good journalists, they'll cite their sources and you can follow up on them. If you're using this article to develop an opinion about something, you'll want to know that your opinion is right. I would hope that you'd want to know that your opinion is the truth, at least, or is at least informed by things that are true. If an article doesn't have sources or has anonymous sources, be careful. If there are no sources or anonymous sources, it's probably not true. A lot of times you'll see this in celebrity journalism, kind of paparazzi sort of stuff, but they'll use anonymous sources to try to get a scoop. And sometimes those sources are good, often they're bad, but those are developing stories. And we'll talk about developing stories in a minute. It's probably not true if there are no sources or what are quoted as anonymous sources, or at least it's not fully true. It's always more complicated than you think. So for a developing story, a story that's growing, that's coming out right now, those are never true. Well, they're never fully true. Say it with me. It's always more complicated than you think. Never, and I'll say this broad brush, don't develop your opinion on a developing story. Never do that. Because they're never completely true. Wait for more information until the story is fully fleshed out. Wait to see the other side. And this is another thing I would say. Always look for the other side, especially when you're reading articles or if you're listening to something that clearly has extreme bias or clearly has really any bias. Look for the other side. See if you can find somebody from the opposite side of those opinions, get their take on events and situations and input. I think I would also say, lastly, regarding articles and things you're listening to, never agree with them. Or at least never agree completely. I think you really always should have something where you go, I liked that, but this I didn't particularly like. Or I liked that, but I disagreed with this portion of it. That's really important. It's really important to retain your own opinion. Because if you fully agree with something, you've probably been duped. You've probably been tricked. So be careful. So we're kind of getting to the whole point of all this. When do you know if something on the internet is true? Well, nothing on the internet is ever true. At least it's never fully true. It's always more complicated than you think. And that's not super helpful, right? You kind of want to know what's true so you can make your worldview around true things. So if you want to develop an opinion about something, remember the rules from writing papers in high school, if you ever did this. If your opinion isn't backed up with at least 3 solid sources that you can say at least are mostly true, if your opinion isn't backed up with those sources, it's probably not true. Or at least it's not fully true. It's always more complicated than you think, right? Anyway, I have been Steve. You can find me on Twitter at MeveStatney, or just search for Steve Matney on the internet. I'm there. You can probably find all my crap even through this YouTube page. Please, if you enjoyed this, if you thought it was helpful, like and subscribe. Share this with your friends if you think they might need some help figuring out what's true on the internet, because I know it's hard. It's hard for all of us. I would love to, in fact, hear from you. There's comments down below, past the doobly-doo, as they say on the Vlogbrothers. But yeah, you can go leave comments. I'll try to respond to you. I usually get emails about those because I'm not popular enough to not get emails about them yet. That's dumb. Anyway, good luck out there.